I am here in front of Mayanei HaYeshua Medical Center. He'll tell us why it's called Medical Center soon. With Rabbi Halberstadt, who has been living as Horas and Tumas Kayanim since he's 20 years old. We're finishing Masechtas Nazir, and the Dafim talk about Azhara and Tumas Kayanim. So we decided to come get a tour of the hospital and see all the work they've put in to make it Kayan friendly.
My name is Matis Halberstadt.
And your connection to Tumas Kayanim?
I'm a Kohen, Halberstadt, family of Kohanim. And I've been involved on a public level since I was about 20 years old in Mary Yeshiva, when the problem of the airplanes flying over the Chulon Cemetery.
The is called
Kuntras Kamfayona, that's me.
And we are here because people are learning Daf Yomi, finishing Nazir. These are where the sunnahs are.
We're now standing in the new wing of the hospital, which was built about 5 years ago, which has inside here, as you can see, the ICU, general ICU, and ICCU now. The general ICU has a very high mortality rate because people go in there in a very bad situation. That flashes in red as Hara Lakonim, warning to Kohanim when there's a problem inside here. When the button inside the ICU gets pressed because somebody is on his way out, then this door will automatically be released. There's a magnet behind here, electromagnet, which automatically releases and gets locked over there. These big doors close automatically, they're spring-loaded, and over here on the other side of the door, you can see there's another sign. So when people come along and see that these doors, the inner doors will also be locked. So if somebody has to go through, then one door will be open, one door closed. That is only useful for Seif Tumah Lotzis, that the Tumah will stay within over here, and soon I'll show you.
Because it's double doors.
Double doors. That means when there's Tumah inside, it's not going to go where it's not supposed to if it's closed. So there's no problem, close one door, it doesn't go out. Once they're out the door, then we don't mind that the inner door's closed. Now over here you see is the back elevator. Over here is the back. There's two sets of elevators here. If there's tumor inside here, they'll bring it straight out in the elevator and take it out on -1. From there, when we go outside, I'll show you what happens. There are plans, but for some reason there's a certain certificate which isn't in place yet, that to have a special elevator to take out tumor directly to outside. What the difference is, at the moment, -1 becomes out of bounds for Kohanim.
And the Tumah discussion is only on Mesim or on Evarim also?
Over here is only Mesim. The places where Evarim, limbs which get amputated, that's all abortions, that will be normally in the surgery rooms. Now over here, if you can see over here, there's we're joining a ceiling with floor 1.
How many Mesim are there on average?
The ward up there, the surgical ward, people don't normally pass away there. The same thing is, the doors over there will be locked, and they'll go out through the back door. And through over here, the doors are locked in any case to the back elevators. So now we'll go outside, and whilst we're outside, I'll show you different stories of things that have happened. As we see over here, the black screen at the moment is blacked out.
Here's another
black screen. Somebody comes from the parking lot. You won't have seen the black screen on the main entrance. If we want to go quickly to the main entrance, we'll be able to get a view in here. Just look on top over here. Over here, this gets activated in any of the units where things are prone to happen. So the nurses or staff will immediately activate the system.
Even before there's an actual...
Going, gone. When you're not allowed to touch anymore because of ghosts. That's the official thing. Depending which unit it is, because in the internal medical ward, so they know what a person's situation ahead of time.
Right.
Over here we have the main entrance of the hospital. This is the entrance for the emergency room. Department of Emergency Medicine. Now in here people get brought in all sorts of things, people coming, handing, singing, and people unconscious and further during resuscitation or need resuscitation. Now if you can, this emergency room used to be very small, and as you can see over here they've added on a new wing. It's grown from 10 beds to 20 beds.
Okay. And
examination rooms which weren't there earlier. Part of that, they have a trauma room, new, fully kitted, which is the place where naturally the resuscitations will happen. Resuscitations is no secret to anybody that resuscitation will either finish with a live body or a dead body. What happens in that room there, the reason there's another doors over here, besides for cold air or hot air during the elements of the elements of the summer not going in. There's another thing over here which you can see there's a locking system on top of it as well. The idea is that if somebody passes away, the doors inside there will be locked, and that way the tumor will not go into the building because it's totally isolated. And afterwards the Chevra Kedisha or whoever will take out the nifta from these doors and go out the back way, which will go soon to the morgue. Now, as things happened over here and the previous entrance of the old emergency room, at one point they were added onto the building. If you look up there, these letters. Now those things were measured and they stick out more than a tefach. 8 centimeters according to the Shitta of Reb Chaim Noah, which the American postscript Ramosha will say is the Ikar Adin, would mean to say that the wall over here is a straight plumb line. So any tumor there will not go into an upper window unless somebody puts his hand out. But that's not something we think about. However, when they added on these letters onto the thing, that is wider a tefach, and now all of a sudden you have it sticking out, and it will allow the tumor to enter any of the hollows on the upper floors. So if you go to the Maccabi one on the top, we're talking about if there's a problem down here with tumor from here, then we're talking about knocking the whole building out instead of having each floor isolated, which things are normally. We haven't yet explained why that is, because we haven't yet reached that part of the hospital.
Right. So the tikkun for that was?
So the tikkun for that was, if you come over here now, they've widened the doorway to come further out. If you come directly below, and then somebody noticed that there's the electrical, there's a projector over here on one floor up, which was being measured, and it's exactly a millimeter in than what is done. Now, this new building over here, the Institute of Cardiology, as we said before, we have the general ICU, intensive care unit, over here. Can you see the windows?
Yes.
Now, it's all fine that you close the doors on the inside. However, what happens if something happens inside, the windows get opened, and as you can see, they can open quite a bit. And you've got a Kohen who's walking along here, and he won't even know that there's a problem. The windows on this floor can't be opened. The buildings you're seeing in front over here, this red and white building, is mental health care.
Okay.
The only Haredi run al pi halacha in the world. Coming now the back end of the hospital. You see this red pillar over here? Inside there's an industrial elevator.
Okay.
After they finished building the building, they drilled out specially doorways on every floor for bringing tumor out over here. And this is where it would come out. If you see straight along over here, that is the morgue. Now over here, you see a sign over here, En K'nisa LaKohanim.
Yeah.
Why? Because over here there's no way that Kohen can know whether there's something going on in that building. Now it's really En K'nisa LaKohanim. I think that's from COVID time, when things were happening 3 times and 5 times a day. But the way now, if a dead body comes out from that building through the back elevator, as we showed you from inside, it'll come out into the underground, whatever it is, and come out over here. However, if you look up over here, when that happens, the whole -1 gets knocked off for Kohanim, because what happens over here, you see the balcony over there.
Someone comes out.
So whether tumor itself or Sof Tumalotis.
Right.
We're talking now of Sof Tumalotis as far as it is real tumor. I can give a share explaining that, but
Right, we're assuming that
people have to know that Sof Tumalotis is an issue, and the meaning of Sof Tumalotis, just give one line, that anywhere along the system where the tumor is going to be, halachically, Halachah Moshe Sinai or Drabonon, it's considered as if it's already there. That means doors closed.
Protect it.
But they won't, because we consider it as if the tumor's already there. That means the whole way along the whole route,
Right.
we have to look
Doors
at
closed,
it.
don't stop it.
It's not because it's as if it's on the other side already.
Right.
The tumor is as if it's going to be along the whole route.
So where did the doors help? Only the tumor itself.
The doors help for the other side, not where it's going to go out, where it's not going to go out. So that means if you got a whole,
Right. So
the
what you
whole
were
hospital,
explaining at the beginning
the
of
Sof
the
Tumalotes will stop the tumor. The tumor doesn't go in; it only goes out. So the whole exit way is
Sof
tumor.
Tumalotis is the Matthias, the planned exit of the body. That's also a discussion.
Yes. Now, as that, they built a corridor around the delivery wards that don't have people walking through the wards. It's to give everyone their privacy. Okay, so they did that out. So this thing got stuck out. The entrance to The morgue, which is inside there, okay, you see the notice on side there? Cheder Niftarim, Ein Knisa Lakonim, including the lobby in front of the door. Now, let's come around the side. If you notice, if you look over here, the stairs have been moved away from the entrance there. Now, if a Kohen walks up here and there's Kohen, so these stairs were moved aside, that even when somebody puts his hand on the handrail, he's not going to get his fingers stuck inside. The reason why we paskin that there is not a problem for a Kohen to be within Daled Amos as I am now is because it's a takana drabonim. And the rule is that we will makabel from Rabbi Seinu that takana drabonim, what Chazal said is the takana. That's the takana. There's no oohing and ahhing. Well, we'll take the spirit of the takana and say, well, today it's not relevant. The same way we don't say that today it's not relevant, we're not going to go and broaden it and say, well, I think that should include that as well. And therefore, Daled Amos is from a Daled Amos from a 4 Amos from a keva, not from any other situation. So that's the interest. The morgue, of course, it's been totally sealed off the inside. Nagaria, this is some workshop for thing. Now let's go further back. Okay, what you're seeing over here on the eastern end of the hospital, there's work going on over here. Now, working building site for, Baruch Hashem, the hospital's getting bigger, as we said before. However, it keeps the Rav of the hospital on his toes. Every day there could be a challenge, because as you can see over here, the entrance is sealed off. So anything that happens under here, all these windows are built, sealed, there's no entrance into the building.
However,
but any little change could happen here, and therefore there's constant surveillance. See this canopy there, where there's the air conditioning unit on top of it? That canopy there is on top of a shaft going down to the morgue. That shaft is how they can let Tumah out of the delivery of the maternity area, which would be stillborn. Okay, in here is somewhere where there are serious issues, because inside people don't normally die during surgery, but there are sometimes amputation of limbs, and even more is abortions. However, when inside over here, there's a series of doors. I mean, to go through here to the actual operating theatre, see, as you go in already, there's a second door. There's doors and doors and doors. Besides that, around from the outside of the surgical wards, there's a back lane. There's a back passage which is closed off to the rest of the hospital. That thing ends up, there's a special elevator going the whole way through the hospital, which exit is in the morgue. An external elevator. We are now, over here, behind each door over here is one of the delivery wards. Well, over here, this is the back entrance to the delivery wards. Each husband will get given a code that he can enter. This is a special Shabbos code. It's nothing to do what we're here for. Each door here goes into that specific room. That way nobody's intruding on anybody's privacy. If you count the doors here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Where's room number 13? No entrance, because room number 13 is a delivery ward which has a different entrance. It has a window going out to the shaft down below. Over here, well, you can't even see it from over here. Behind in there is what we're looking at from the other side, is the entrance to the morgue for stillborns. So stillborns. Now stillborn can be a very big headache, because a normal baby
comes quickly.
The baby tries to get out himself.
Right.
Over here, it can take many hours. And the halacha is sugyas that from when the yoledes can't walk on her own without being supported, then it's called Sof Tumalotzis. Up till now, it's Tumah
So even when it's still
that means if we have a woman, week 36, beginning of 9th month, goes to a US scan and sees, unfortunately, that the baby has no heartbeat.
US scan in Eretz Yisrael is called a
ultrasound.
Ultrasound. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so ultrasound and see there's no heartbeat. There's no problem of Tumah whatsoever. Why? Because it's Balua. It's called Tumah Balua. That's another story. I'm sure we'll meet it another. But once the birth has started and reached a level where there's an opening and she's not able to walk unsupported, then it's called Sof Tumalotzis, and it's as if the door's open. It might be more than Sof Tumalotzis. It's as if the tumah's out. And that birth can take sometimes a few hours. So a woman who would be hospitalized to have an unfortunate stillbirth induced, they'll bring her down from the ward earlier than they would from a medical reason, because from medical reason, until it's almost ready to come out, there's no reason to take a delivery room. But for halachic reasons, they'll bring her to room number 13. And
that's where she'll have to stay. Until.
Yeah. Now, the room number 13 is a big challenge because a birth is something which is dynamic, and even a stillbirth, there's no sakana for the uber, for the fetus, because it's dead, but there could be a sakana for the mother, and therefore they're still trying to work out a situation to have a double door system getting into room 13, which will keep all the tumor at bay from room 13 without disturbing the hospital. At the moment, if room 13 goes into saturation, the whole zero floor...
Would you say there's more concern of stillborns than the rest of the mates in the hospital?
For a practical challenge.
Practical challenge.
So this room has an exit to the morgue, and this is a room where tumor will be contained in, with a back entrance, and that way, there's no back door, that the tumor shouldn't to get out into the rest of the hospital. In here, there's a blue light on the ceiling. There's others around the place. Like over here, there's in other wards as well, the internal medicine, where that blue light will be on when the red light outside is saying warning, but over here it doesn't say anything, only those that need to know what it means. Doesn't make too much commotion around it. But as you can see it here, there's... I have to see it. Around the door, there's a way that they've kind of a partition, which can be closed. And that way, they've got a double door system for this room itself. The door will be closed. And at one point, this thing, it didn't quite work out. You can see over here's the switch, where they can activate the Asara offender from inside. As we said, they only put that on when the opening reaches a certain level, and they'll bring the woman here earlier. And here's the bathroom, no back window to over here. Now over here is little storeroom with a window. And that window we can't open now, because that window is connected to the morgue. I'm a code. So if you open that, I become Tommy, if there's something down below. So as soon as the stillborn is delivered, straight out the window, and they stop throwing it. There's an electric winch which will let it down, close the window, and turn them free. Can turn the blue light.
You can see the cutout over here where it says Azhar L'Kohanim, Bekoma on the floor, and over here there's digital numbers from -1 the whole way through to 5.
So what happens on Shabbos? Someone comes running around the hospital?
No, the guy will switch on.
Oh, okay.
Amir Lakum Tzach Mitzvah, the easiest. Amir Lakum in hospital is very straightforward. Now over here is everything's joined inside. It's one big hollow. Now this door, the cleaners like to keep it and to hold it open with a seat. And it's a constant fight that the Rov is having to make sure that this door is closed, because it's not going to help having the whole system when somebody's held the door open. It's a constant fight. And you can see, Baruch Hashem, we found the door closed now. And the Rov will come along and move the benches along.
They can make one less chair here, but they need enough chairs.
Now, the big secret over here is why, if somebody's niffed over here, then Softa Malotsis is going to be the biggest problem, because, as we can see, each floor is totally separated from each other. So the problem mainly would be Softa Malotsis, or if all the doors are open. On a weekday, we haven't yet seen the doors open at all. Most people use elevators. Over here is the back entrance of the ward. This is the elevator. Yeah.
This goes straight down?
This goes straight down to the morgue. Now you can see we're already outside the building. Now over here, in the beginning of the hospital, this was just out into the yard. As they extended around it, but anything built around there is totally separated.
So separated meaning?
There's no way from what was built around the morgue is all totally separated. There's no way that Tumah can access the building. There's an entrance to this lift shaft the whole way through the building. Now the busy ones is this floor. On Shabbos, how they move, they put a challah onto the dead body, and then the dead body is used as a tray to move the challah.
They do move dead bodies out here on Shabbos.
Yeah, but the goy will then activate the elevator.